Okay, hello everyone. Thank you very much for appreciating my first video that was on the defining electrosurgery. And now I received a lot of queries which I think cannot be well understood unless we discuss the various terminologies or the nomenclatures used in electrosurgery. So today I'll share this topic, the nomenclatures or the terminologies used in electrosurgery. So very commonly, first we have to understand is there's an atom and an electron is always moving around that atom in an orbit. Now, when that speed increases or the force for that rotation increases, that electron can escape and hit the other atom, and this way it can travel. So current is the number of electrons moving in a specified area per second. So current means that electron should move from one atom to another atom. Now, if you compare this with water, you need some force for this electron to move. So suppose you want to pass water through a pipe, the force with which you pass that water, that will decide how much water will flow across that pipe. Same way, for electron to move, you need a force. And this force is called as voltage. So that voltage will depend upon the positive and negative electrodes. Okay. So voltage is nothing but the difference in the potential. So suppose I give a push from here, it would be a less push and you won't fall, but you might just stumble. But if you give me the liberty to go back and increase this potential, this means the voltage is increased, and then I come and push you, maybe this time you will fall. So when you increase the potential, that means when you increase the voltage, more current will flow. And circuit is just the path in which these electrons travel. So here we have been able to learn two terminologies. One is current, that is the number of electrons passing, and second is voltage, that is the difference in the potential. Now this is best understood by the analogy given by Roger Odell. Suppose there is a town and you have a water tank for that town. Over time, if the population of that town increases and more houses come up, so you want more water to be supplied to each house. So how do you increase this water supply? In that case, you have to increase the height of the tank. There is another aspect also, because if you have very tall buildings, water reaches the same level, that is different. But here you want the water to reach to each and every house. So to increase the force, you have to increase. If you increase the height of the water tank automatically. So this is same as if you want more current in the body, you have to increase voltage. This typically we find in operation theaters when the current is not when the effect is not happening, the doctor tells the assistant increase. Now that poor fellow does not know what to increase. He comes back and doctor does not like to be questioned. He said what to increase. Doctor says, okay, increase the current. Then he goes and checks on the machine. There is nowhere it is written current. So we have to understand, by increasing voltage, the current increases. This is Ohm's law, where current is voltage upon resistance of the tissue. Okay. So by increasing the voltage, you will increase the current. Secondly, when you increase the height of the tank, more water will flow. But if you change the diameter of the pipe, if you make the pipe bigger, still more water will flow. That means when you make the pipe bigger, you remove the resistance for that flow. And in that case, more water will flow. If you want to conserve, you can reduce the size of the pipe, and that increases the resistance to the water flow. So you actually waste less water and it will reach to uniformly distributed to everybody. So this analogy helps us to understand how it works in the body. Now resistance voltage we can understand comparing to height, water flow comparing to the current flowing, but resistance is the tissues which we are putting the energy on. So every tissue will have different resistance. The blood vessel will have different resistance. The muscles will have different resistance. Fat, in fact, has more resistance. So if you remember, we bought good machines, but then some cases it did not work well, especially the obese people. And then we would say that I think this machine is not good. The machine was already good, only the patient was different, the resistance was different. Now this patient was fat with lot of fat tissue which is high resistance, or scarred tissues, they will have still more higher resistance. So today the technology is such, the machines have become so smart that they will pick up the impedance, that is impedance is the resistance in the tissues, and automatically now you don't have to tell your assistant to increase, the machine itself can do that changes in the voltage depending upon the resistance to give uniform current. So this is the new technology that has come up. So I think we have been able to explain voltage, current, and resistance. Now there are other terms as well which are wrongly used. Now we call the electrosurgical unit, we call it like cautery. Now why we should give away this term is because cautery is a wrong nomenclature. We should not use it for that electrosurgical machine. We should not call it cautery, which is routinely called. Okay. Why cautery is not equal to electrosurgical unit is because in cautery, what you do, if you take a metal, you heat it. So heat energy, and you touch to some tissue. So heat energy is transferred into heat energy. Okay. Same way in electrosurgery, you are taking electrical energy, converting it into mechanical energy, oscillations. Because of the severe oscillations, friction increases, then you convert it into heat energy. Lot of people get confused saying that the instruments are very hot at the end, and then why you are saying that this is not like a cautery. This is not like a cautery because in cautery the metal instrument is heated and heat is transferred, whereas here you are not heating the tissues, you are just transferring the electrical energy. The tissues are moving so fast inside, in back they are actually hitting the tip of the instrument there. So this is not to be used. We have to call it like a electrosurgical unit. So what are the things in my previous lecture I told you, when we give electrical current, the patient can be electrocuted and he can die. But the same electricity when passed through these electrosurgical units, we get good effects. So what does this electrosurgical unit do? It removes this Faradic effect. How it removes, I have already told. It converts the wall unit 60 Hertz to very high frequency current, that is 300 kilohertz, so high. And that is also called as radio frequency because that is where the transistors or the radio work. So it converts 60 into 300 kilohertz. So the ability of this electrosurgical unit to convert it to so high where the muscles and nerves will no longer be depolarized, that allows us to use this in our day-to-day surgeries. Secondly, these machines allow you to change the voltages. And if you open a machine, electrosurgical unit, you will find different grids like this, which will convert this 60 Hertz into different forms of energy, different waveforms. Depending upon what waveform you are using, you will get that effect. Now, if I am a gynecologist, a certain waveform is most commonly used in my surgery. But nowadays you get such heavy machines and so expensive machines where they will have many grids. And maybe some energy is useful for neurosurgeon, some energy is much more dedicated for a urologist. So I am not interested in paying that money unnecessarily because I am going to use exclusively for surgery, my gynec surgery, and maybe at a time some surgeon might come there. So I should know what energy works best for a gynecologist, and I would pay only that much money rather than buying a very, very expensive, and I won't be making any use of that electrical current, that waveform. So for that, we have to understand what are the waveforms. So suppose now this is the neutral position. If we put 30 watts cut current, okay. So when I press 30, this is how the current will be spread there, okay. When 30 watts current moves, it is a low voltage continuous current. Like suppose I give you 100 rupees and I say spread it across this line, then that 100 can be spread. It has to be continuous spread, so it cannot go very high because otherwise it will end earlier. So this is a low voltage continuous current. Okay, now if that 30 is increased to 100, slight increase in the voltage will happen, but it is a continuous current. So cut current is continuous low voltage current. Now I will take 1 minute to tell you there are two languages. One is the engineering language and one is the medical person understanding or interpreting it. The medical person interprets imagining what is happening to the round ligament or what is happening to the peritoneum, whether it is getting cut or when a blood vessel is bleeding, whether it is going to be coagulated. So for us, cut and coagulate was tissues moving away or a vessel being sealed. But before the doctors, the engineers have used these words cut and coagulation for their current without actually understanding that we might be interpreting in the same terms, cut and coagulate. So since they have already used those words for current, which is actually creating a big confusion, they could have really used any other terms. We would have really give them very fancy names for cut. They could have used ting current and tong current, which means there is a low voltage continuous current. Now since they have used the word cut, the whole confusion happened. So now we have to imagine the effects what happen in different terms. Now we cannot use the word cut, so there we will use some other words like vaporization, desiccation, fulguration, and we would say the same thing. Like vaporization is the tissues are cutting, desiccation the tissues are coagulating, okay, and fulguration is a spraying of the current to stop the superficial bleeding. So that is tissue effect, this is current. So now we are just talking in terms of engineering language. They could have actually used, like suppose now they confuse us with this cut current. They confuse us in the books by saying low voltage continuous uninterrupted. We know, man, the cut current means low voltage uninterrupted continuous flow. This is like same like if I tell you Amitabh Bachchan, everybody gets a picture of Amitabh Bachchan. If I keep on telling you every time a very famous Hindi film star, 6 feet and above, with a midline partition of hair and an angry young man look, you will get bored after some time. So that is what happens in the books. When they try to explain it too much, then the confusion happens. So cut current, I think everybody has understood. There is another current. Now the same energy, 30 watts, is to be given in an interrupted fashion. And there is a condition that you will use that current only for 6% of the times of the 100 unit, whatever. So the current has to be spread apart and it has to be delivered. So what happens is it will be divided into two halves and you will get a high voltage current. So coagulation current is high voltage interrupted current, and the current flows only for 6% of the duty cycle. It is called how much time the current flows is called as the duty cycle. So you have two currents. Cut is a continuous low voltage and coag is a interrupted high voltage. Okay. very simple. This is very simple understanding. So now don't imagine what is cutting or coagulating. This is just the names unfortunately given to the currents before it was discussed with the medical language. So we have to just take them as currents. Here you have to understand the cut current and the coagulation current or the blended current, which I will discuss, all have the ability to cut the tissues, that vaporize the tissues, and all have the ability to coagulate. That means in our routine words, that is to make a clump, desiccate into a real meaning. So we will discuss which current is better to vaporize, which current is better to coagulate. But for now, you have to understand all the currents waveforms are, they have the capacity to vaporize, that is cut, and then coagulate. So that is the, you have to understand this. Now blended current is not mixture, like it is not a low and high voltage together. It is like you reach some median. So in blended current, so this is cut, and in blend currents, the duty cycle changes. Now here you will appreciate it is not very low voltage and it is not very high voltage. It is in between, but it is not a combination of low and high, like it is not irregularly. It is a regular pattern, but it is more than the low voltage and less than the high voltage. But here the duty cycle varies. In the first picture, you will see the current is flowing for 50% duty cycle. Next, it is increased to 60% of the time the current is flowing. And then it is 83% of the time the current is flowing. So this is called as blend 1, blend 2, blend 3. Okay. So there are three waveforms: cut, coag, and blend. Now let us see what happens to the tissues. The tissue, when you increase or pass this current, the tissue gets heated. And like I have explained earlier, see in here, if you see, if the temperature rises to 60 to 90, the cell membrane breaks at places and the water escapes, little water escapes out. So the tissue shrinks in size. And at this temperature 60 to 90, the protein bonds are broken, and in the cooling phase they are reformed. So they are broken, reformed, broken, reformed. They don't come to the original, but they will form a coagulum. So that is called as desiccation. Okay. In the common layman's term, this is desiccation is the vessels are coagulated. You form a clump. When this temperature goes from 90 to 100 degrees, the water starts, whatever remaining water is there, it starts boiling. It's the cell swells. Already the broken cell will give away and it will burst. In water will evaporate. So it goes into vapors and the ions, cations in fumes. So this is how the tissue cuts or it moves apart, and that is called vaporization. So for medical terms, since the cut word has already been used by the engineers, we are saying vaporization happens. That means it is cut. Vaporization will happen with all types of current, with the cut current as well as with coagulation current. Desiccation will happen with cut current and coag current. Now to just give you an analogy, which is better, it is like I compare this with a small child. We go to school to get knowledge and education, but most importantly we go there to make friends. So suppose I have 100 chocolate and my teacher says you can distribute only within a minute. Then I want to make maximum friends, so I will start giving one chocolate to each one of them. Okay. So at the end what I have is, irrespective of the results who will become my friends, I have given one chocolate to each. So I have given it to more people. So this is a good current. Like it gives me a good effect that at least, okay, maybe some friends are already having other friends, and somebody is giving, instead of my one chocolate, two chocolates. So he's again, but I still have a better chance of creating more friends in the class. Whereas if the teacher restricts me that you can give only to two people out of these 100, okay, so then that is a very difficult proposition for me, because I don't know whether those people are already having friendship with somebody else. So maybe I would consider this coag current, which is a high voltage. Now one, instead of receiving one chocolate, is receiving 50 chocolates. So it's a high voltage, but less number of people. So practically the for option for me is to give 1 to 100 and develop more friends. So that is why the cut current is better. And I will explain you as we go ahead how it is better than the coag current, because the coag current, if it's a high voltage, maybe it will create more energy and lateral thermal damage. So we'll see that later. So here you can appreciate cutting current, coagulation current, all can actually vaporize the tissue. Now this cut current, you have to imagine it in the form, even though they have named it cut, you imagine it like a sword. A sword will give a clean cut. So if you see a continuous low voltage current, it gives a clean cut. Since it is low voltage, there is no lateral thermal spread. Go to the third part. This is the coag current, where you are having high voltage interrupted. So in a high voltage current, the temperature at the center would be 100, but by the sides it can be 90, 80. So there is a lateral spread with the coag type of current. So if I am very close to the ureter or bowel, or a surgeon is close to the CBD, it is always better to use the cut current. And the books will describe low voltage, continuous, uninterrupted. So this is same. Cut current is better when you have vital structures to prevent lateral thermal spread. And coag current should not be used when you have such vital structures, because it has some lateral thermal spread. So this is vaporization. Now, if you see desiccation here, this is the actually the showing the interrupted, that is the high voltage interrupted current. Okay, what happens because of this is, when you give high voltage current to the tissue, the superficial part of it immediately receives heat and it gets burned, and then you have a cooling phase. Now next time when that burst will come, it has to go through this already burnt area. So now the resistance is higher in this superficially burnt area. So there will be more lateral spread because this area has already been burnt. Okay, this is the problem with coag current. Now if you see the low voltage current, continuous low voltage current given, it will spread uniformly. And here the tissue is, the probe is touching the tissue. So when you touch, it depends upon whether you use the sharp end or you use the flat end. If you use the flat end, but the current is cut, even then it will coagulate, it will form a coagulum. That means it will desiccate the tissue, and it will desiccate uniformly. Earlier we saw vaporization. Now we are talking about desiccation. Desiccation is, suppose your vessel is bleeding and what you want to use. So if you use a cut current, even for desiccation, it gives a uniform spread because it is low voltage and it cooks the tissue well. So when you are doing the uterine artery, you want the current to uniformly go across the walls of the uterine artery and even the blood cells inside. You want it to cook gently and form a good coagulum. So when you use cutting current, it gives actually a good coagulum because it's a low voltage. It will cook over time. If you use the coag current, if you use the coagulation current, it will first give the burst, burn the area, the uterine wall, and again after some cooling phase, again another burst will come, then again burst will come. By that time, the wall of the uterine vessel, the vessel wall has already been burnt and the resistance has changed. So to achieve the same coagulation, achieve the same desiccation, you will need more time. And as time increases, lateral spread can happen. So if you are doing uterine and you want to seal the vessel, even then cut current is better than coag current. So now to vaporize, or in layman's term to cut the tissues, or to stop the bleeding, both the times cut current is better. So it is, like I said, it is better to give chocolates to one chocolates to 100 than giving taking chance of giving it 50-50 to just two people. So this is a vessel that is bleeding, and here you will appreciate in the upper part we are using, the vessel is clamped with the forceps grasper, and the current passed is low voltage cutting current, and you see a uniform coagulum form. While in the lower part you will see that it is not very uniform. At some places it is haphazard because the tissue gets, the resistance changes, and that it is not uniformly passing across the vessel walls, and so the coagulum form will be less. So in nutshell, cutting current is better for vaporization as well as desiccation. And fulguration, it comes from the Latin word where it is like lightning, so it is like sprayed. So if you have some capillary bleeding over a surface and you want to stop the bleeding, and they are very superficial, these are very superficial ones, so here you move the electrode away from the tissues and it sprays. So this is the fulguration. So you saw three currents: cut current, coag current, and blended current. And you saw three tissue effects: vaporization, desiccation, and fulguration. The current is engineering language. The tissue effects is our medical language. But here we are going to use the words vaporization for cutting, desiccation for vessel sealing, and fulguration for spraying or over the wide area. So here again, this is the same thing I am explaining. If you see the voltage, when low voltage is there, the thermal spread is less. When high voltage is there, the thermal spread or charring is more. So low voltage is cutting current, so lateral spread is less. High voltage is the coag current, where the lateral spread is more. And then there are many different factors which will actually decide. That I will come when I actually show you the videos of how to make effective use of electrosurgery in your day-to-day surgeries. It would depend upon what waveform you are using. Like I said, better to use a cutting current. Power settings, how much voltage you want, okay? The size of the electrode, because now if you have a very thin electrode, the concentration, density of the current depends upon the size of the electrode, I mean the instrument. Now we should, sometimes we get confused by the shape of the instrument. We always feel, or a lot of people get confused, that pointed instruments are monopolar and the two prongs are bipolar. Nothing like that. Even in bipolar you have pointed instruments where the two probes are very close to each other. So the size of the electrode, the time for which you apply the current, because more the time, more lateral, because as the current is going inside, it is also spreading sideways. So it depends upon the time. Manipulation of electrode, if you stretch the tissues, if you keep them under tension, then they thin out, so the effective volume of the tissues is less, so it desiccates and vaporizes faster. Type of tissue, like I said, the blood vessel will have different resistance, the fat will have different resistance, and eschar is the blackening that happens, that is the tissues, the superficial part gets desiccated and does not allow the current to go actually inside the tissue. So all these factors will decide, and will actually, if you, this is has to go back into a spinal level. Once you read, and after this, if it should be in a spinal level, and like when you pull the peritoneum, you know there are no blood vessels, you stretch it and move it with a sharper edge. When you come uh, across a blood vessel, you will immediately convert that the sharp edge into a flat end, coagulate, desiccate the vessel and again cut it. So this is how you make movements of the instruments to get the best of the electrosurgical effects. Now, monopolar and bipolar. Earlier, the terms were used as monopolar current, bipolar current. Now that terms have been removed. We don't use, there is no monopolar current and bipolar current. There are only monopolar instruments and bipolar instruments. The instrument where the active electrode and the dispersive electrode is away, apart, and the whole patient is in between, that is the monopolar. And when the active and the dispersive electrode is very close to each other and a very small tissue of the patient is held, and only that tissue is in between the active and the dispersive electrode, it is bipolar. The energy what we use is radio frequency, and all radio frequencies are bipolar. It is how we keep this active and dispersive electrodes apart, how apart we keep them, that will decide whether it will act like a monopolar instrument or a bipolar instrument. Bipolar instrument where only a little part of the tissue is in the circuit, so these are safer. The bipolar instruments are safer because very little part, okay, of the tissue will be coagulated. So it is the types of instruments and no more to be confused with types of currents. Here is an example. If we just show you the shape of the instrument, everybody feels that this is pointed, this is monopolar. No, this has two electrodes which are very, very close to each other. Like if you see our hysteroscopy bipolar needles, when we do septum, which can be used even in normal saline, rather than using the glycine, we can use this bipolar needles. So the needle at the tip will appear from the, if you have that concept that the instruments are on based on the shape of the tip, then it is wrong. Okay. So I think I have covered a lot of terminologies, and this should help you in reading. So don't get confused. They actually try to confuse. They could have just said cutting current. And if they try to add those more jargons like low voltage, continuous, uninterrupted, undampened, and all these, just ignore that. You should know Amitabh Bachchan. Huh? Lambu hai, baal aisa hai. Don't get confused with those terminologies. Just continue with cutting current, coag current, vaporization, and desiccation. So the reading will be very simple. And if you have any queries, please pass it on to my WhatsApp number, and I would be very happy to answer that. Thank you so much.